Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. Rumi. Johanna, a college student from Kuala Lumpur, had been struggling to finish her studies. She was living in a dorm with other students, and had trouble making ends meet. Johanna was on a scholarship, which meant she needed to keep her grades high while working part-time to support her living expenses. Strapped for time and resources, she barely got by and started feeling burnt out. If Johanna wasn't hitting the books, she was working. Everything started to become a blur and she was losing motivation to keep going. It got so bad that Johanna even thought about telling her parents she couldn't do it anymore and drop out from college. But then a classmate from her philosophy class introduced her to the law of attraction. Jacques, a foreign exchange student from Canada, had been reading up on it and applied it in his own life. According to him, it had helped him manifest a solution to his own problems. He had lived in an abusive home growing up, and Jacques learned how to shift his thinking and perspective to change his circumstances. Johanna wasn't sure at first what to make of it, but she took Jacques' word for it and started applying its principles in her own life. After she made a shift in her own mindset and attitude, Johanna started to experience some positive changes. She eventually quit her part-time job and found another one with better pay and hours, which helped with her living expenses. It also helped free up her time, so she managed to study and start a side income project selling items online. Johanna ended up growing her side business so much that she got Jacques to help her manage it. By the end of the academic year, she had turned into a completely different person. Johanna was no longer the depressed, burned-out student from before. She had become a self-sufficient student and even made the dean's list. The power of changing your focus. Sometimes, we get so discouraged that we feel powerless to change our situation. Like Johanna, we fall into a fixed mindset where we think things will stay the same and we can't do anything about it. But the only way to break out of this negative spiral is by changing your inner world. This is the key to influencing your external world so you can move forward in life. In a nutshell, the law of attraction is a way of living that requires you to change your frequency. When you do this, the universe will pick up your signal and your life will change for the better. As for the frequency I mentioned, this is basically the vibration of energy that your mind gives off. You can either operate at a high or low vibration, and each type will give you a specific result. Most people don't realize they're giving off low-frequency energy, which is actually making their situation worse. The main problem is when you attach your emotions to your external circumstances. For instance, it's easy to feel bad when you're broke. And naturally, it's just as easy to feel the opposite if you had money in the bank. Similarly, seeing other people in a happy, romantic relationship will make you bitter and angry if you're single. And so on. I'm not saying it's wrong to feel bad about things like that. However, you shouldn't use your circumstances and how you feel about them as an excuse to stop trying. People fail to realize that not doing anything about their situation will only make them feel worse. And this further traps them in a vicious cycle of negativity and inaction. Thus, the law of attraction will help you install a more positive attitude in your consciousness. This keeps your mind from being overrun by negativity, and more importantly, give you the leverage to break free from your situation. With some practice, your thoughts and actions will effortlessly work together to attract positive circumstances in your life. But where should you start? Here are some ways to put the law of attraction into action and start creating massive changes. Number 1, share your gifts to the world. The Bible talks about the power of giving, and how it outweighs the benefits of getting. But no matter what your faith or beliefs are, it helps to think of generosity on a larger scale. Giving is more than just a virtue, it's a type of cosmic currency. When you perform acts of kindness or share your resources for no other reason than wanting to, you're putting this currency into circulation. And soon enough, this positive energy you send into the world, and the universe as a whole, will find its way back to you. You won't get it in the same form, but it will come around, one way or another. I know that sometimes, giving feels like the last thing you want to do, especially when your own life is lacking in some capacity. Why bother extending yourself when you've got enough to worry about for yourself? But that's exactly the point. Giving, even when you think you can't, will prove that this is a false perception. Let your acts of generosity serve as a reminder to everyone that in spite of everything, life is and will always be abundant. Trust in the infinite energy of the universe and tune into its unique frequency. Your selflessness is the key to that. A generous attitude raises the quality of the vibrations you send out into the world. Escaping the scarcity mindset and the fear of not having enough is one of the most liberating things you can do. By doing so, you're free to improve the lives of others, and yours in the process. Number 2, stop hanging out with losers. I don't mean to sound judgmental, but there are people in your life that will try to drag you down, whether they're aware of it or not. You should avoid them at all costs. People in a bad situation will try to feel better about themselves by spreading their toxic way of thinking to others. They pull others down with their hurtful words, or convince them that they're not good enough. Instead of doing something about their own situation, it's easier to go down this dark path and take everyone else with them. And the law of attraction states that when you focus on something, the universe will feed you more of the same. So the good news is that you can choose to avoid this downward spiral and get on another path instead. This is why you need to be careful about the company you keep. Choose the people that can share their constructive energy with you. If their attitude, mindset and words lift you up, you know you're in the right place. Their energy is contagious, and you'll naturally raise your own frequency and attract only good things in your life. As for toxic people, I know there are times when you simply can't avoid them. They could be family, friends, or co-workers, and you might be even living with some of them. It's a challenge for sure, but do your best not to let their negative energy get to you. You don't have to butt heads with them and simply respond with positivity. If you're in a conversation with them, try to frame it in a healthy, positive way so you don't get sucked into their toxic field of gravity. You don't have to change their mind, just take the agree to disagree route and leave it at that. Who knows, your own energy might rub off on their consciousness. They might even think about what you told them and re-evaluate their own perspective. Number 3, get out from under the grind. We all have our lives to lead, and that means falling into a routine. Now, don't get me wrong, having structure in your life is important and even necessary. At a basic level, we need it to function on a daily basis. Incorporating helpful habits into your everyday routine is a good thing. However, there is a danger in being too embedded in it and shutting yourself off to trying new things. Sticking too closely to your routine could make you afraid of the unfamiliar and uncomfortable, and hinder your growth in the process. So if you want to attract new and exciting things into your life, you should carve out some room for that. Doing things that help you grow always has a place in a well-balanced life. A stable, healthy routine is the best way to avoid a soul-crushing existence. What are the things that inspire you? Outside of your usual chores and duties, what gives you a sense of fulfillment, even if it doesn't pay the bills? People usually shoot down any desire for this because they're afraid they don't have enough time. But you'll see just how flimsy that excuse is once you actually take the plunge and spend that time you didn't think you had. In as little as half an hour, you could engage in a fulfilling pursuit. Find or rekindle a hobby, take up an online course or watch free videos. Let it energize your senses, inspire you to greatness and empower you to create something wonderful in this world. More than that, you can acquire knowledge to advance you in some way, like learning a skill, for example. I recently came across a post on Twitter that made me smile. It said, "There's too much free information online for y'all not be crushing it in whatever field. Use your precious time to invest in a better you and express yourself through your passions. Don't worry about the if and how. Just get started with something now, and the rest of your life will adjust to it. You won't know what new avenues will open up until you get the ball rolling." Number 4, quiet your mind. Meditation is one habit that goes very well with practicing the law of attraction. When you learn how to control your thoughts, instead of the other way around, you're in the best position to manifest the things you want. A lot of people find it challenging to keep their thoughts above water when they're flooded with negative emotions. With meditation, you can take a step back and remove yourself from a situation in a healthy way. There are books, free content online and mobile apps that can help you with this. For instance, I just tried out the Insight app on my phone, which is kind of like the YouTube equivalent for meditation. You can search by a specific person or channel, or even topics like easing anxiety, anger management, and so on. This is a low-maintenance habit which will only take about 10 to 15 minutes daily. You could even spend 5 minutes if you're really strapped for time. This basically works by sitting down on the floor or a chair and closing your eyes. The idea is to take slow, measured breaths and pay attention to the physical sensations you're feeling at the moment. Are your muscles tense? Is your heart beating quickly from the stress you're currently experiencing? These are some of the things to be mindful of as you breathe in and out. If any other thoughts enter your mind, don't resist it. Don't chase after them and just let it pass. Then you can go back to focusing on the rhythm of your breath. Take this time to focus on the feelings of love, health, success, and prosperity. In other words, the things you want to attract. Concentrate your attention on inhaling and exhaling. Once you've calmed your mind enough, you're ready to visualize the things you want to manifest in life. This will have a powerful effect on your subconscious and put you on the path towards your goals. And that brings us to the last life-changing habit. Number 5, affirmations. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest boxers in history, was known for saying, "What you're thinking is what you're becoming." Indeed. That attitude helped him become what he was, and it will serve you well, too. Most of the time, people don't pay attention to the kind of thoughts they hold in their heads. Left unchecked, they often feed into a toxic narrative they have about themselves without realizing it. Like I said earlier, what you put in your subconscious affects you. The things you tell yourself are like seeds you plant in your mind, and they'll grow over time. Those same thoughts will express themselves in your actions and the choices you make. So, you need to be careful which seeds you plant. Joseph Murphy, author of the book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, tells us that this part of your mind can't distinguish which thoughts are real or imagined. As far as it's concerned, your subconscious will treat it as fact whether it's happening in the physical world or not. Thus, people don't just operate on these subconscious beliefs. Without being aware of it, they're turning their thoughts into reality. And it will happen, one way or another. The perception you have about yourself is largely influenced by the people you had around while growing up. Their input, whether good or bad, left a mark on your subconscious that's hard to shake off. And this programming kicks in whenever you make decisions, and it dictates how you respond to tough times. This inner dialogue can act as your inner voice of confidence and self-assurance. Or as in most people's cases, it's the voice of fear and self-doubt. You might think you're not good enough or smart enough because you couldn't stop the bad things from happening. You curse yourself for messing things up, then blame it on some pre-assigned character defect. Usually, it's in the form of labels like loser, hopeless case, slacker, weirdo, and so on. But remember, these labels only have as much power over as you allow it. You can apply the law of attraction to change this inner chatter and rewire your mind for success instead. It's impossible to attract wealth, abundance, and happiness if you're focused on putting yourself down. You can do the opposite by using encouraging statements that will empower you to take action. Here are some examples to try during your meditation sessions. Affirmations that span across time. Think about what's already happened, what's happening now, and what's yet to come. Then put it all together like this: before, I was broke, miserable, and hated the world. But I know better now and want to turn it around. Things are about to change, and soon I'll be prosperous, happy, and living my dream life. Affirmations that are crystal clear, saying something like "I am loved" or "I am blessed" is a good start, but they're a bit vague. Try elaborating on these ideas and flesh them out even more. Then you'll end up with a statement like, "I'm surrounded by people who love and support me. They help me grow as a person and want to see me succeed." As for being blessed, you can say, "I'm blessed with infinite opportunities and resources, and my life is full and abundant." Affirmations with an attitude. Another way to supercharge your subconscious is by being a little cheeky with your statements. When that voice of fear and insecurity kicks in, drown out the noise with, "Whatever, I'm amazing at everything I do. I fight like hell and do my best, and I can't hear what you're saying." Adding some light-hearted humor amplifies your signal and makes it easier for the universe to hear your thoughts. Try this the next time you're feeling especially down on yourself. When you improve the quality of your thoughts, it's as if your circumstances will rearrange itself on their own. These changes will seem to happen without doing much on your part. But the truth is that you're already doing the heavy lifting by disciplining your mind. Starting today, you can apply these 5 tips I've just shared with you to create ripples of change in your life. The more you practice them, the bigger waves will result from your efforts. I hope you make use of this knowledge and empower yourself for greatness.